Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum once again. Last episode of the series of videos related to our question. Propleis company. This question is about acquisition decision. Target company is a tactical company. Part C is the code. It's the area of discussion with that particular video. Before starting the question, you people know very well that basically acquirer decision to invest, to take up the acquiry, the target company, and the business rationale for this investment decision, it's primarily based on synergy. So if successfully synergy become realized, of course, this is called the successful acquisition decision. And the realization of the synergy, once you implement the plan, it's very much based on how well the acquirer able to integrate the acquiry systems with the acquirer systems. Of course, there are multiple challenges for the integration of the system of acquiry with the acquirer. And that is the point we need to discuss with the part C. And these are the challenges actually creating the hurdles for the realization of the synergy as well. And this is what examiner actually asked with this question. Read the question. Explain the actions. Read the verbs very carefully. Explain the actions the acquirer, the Propleis board can take to ensure that companies are integrated successfully, and resulting implication is that synergies become realized. So we need to discuss here the action points of the Propleis company. That's the management must have to take during once they have decided to take up the company. So what particular action points they need to take for successful integration and realization of the synergy, and it's become so-called the successful acquisition decision. So this is what about the question. This is a question and I will support you. First of all, make a good plan what you will write accordingly. The question has 4 marks. Number 1, 4 marks that you have in technical plus professional skill marks, 9 minutes. You need to invest your 2 minutes for planning and 7 minutes to attempt the question. During the time of planning, the very important thing, what to write. That means plan for the key points. Quickly, a basic knowledge. What the action, if the acquirer have decided that I will take up a company, I will take the acquiry. So what the basic knowledge in your mind? It's a bookish knowledge, it's very basic. First of all, the very first thing is that the knowledge about investigation. Acquirer must have to investigate what are the possible sources of synergies once we acquire the acquiry, and with this investigation identify the particular staff persons or the resources which are important, because if there are some key resources and during the acquisition decision you are not able to retain them, so it's very difficult to generate the synergy accordingly. And further more things, for example, this is the era of technology and the case is also about the technology matter. So also investigate, during investigation identify what are the system of the acquiry and what challenges we will face to integrate the system of the technology as well, including marketing strategy as well. So investigation about the sources of synergy, and investigation that how we will be able to generate or realize that synergy. So that is the investigation point. Number two, the action point that must have to consider by the board of directors, that's very smooth and very regular communication with the staff. Communication with the staff, regular communication, and provide them the confidence that this investment decision is actually benefit for them. This is what about a change, the referring the change model with the SPL as well. Not I'm not expecting that you have to mention the Lewis model of the SPL. So this is the action point. And I must say that whatever the strategy the acquirer is going to take to integrate the system, the plan must be flexible. Flexible plan. So investigation, communication with the staff, flexible plan, that's more than enough for the 4 marks. That maximum, these 3 points. With these 3 points, your points will easily cover. So this is what within 2 minutes you need to plan it, focus it. And now it's time to attack. For example, if you have made a heading that's investigation is the first action point. So what do you will like? For example, you can mention through investigation of acquiry company, addicting company, identify the possible sources of synergy. Yes. And because you have to mention the action points to make it more clear. This process, the process, investigation process includes highlight or identify key resources or key staff or resources to retain. Furthermore, IT system for integration. More things you need to add on, the organizational structure and more on, but I suggest that there are not much marks here, and be specific. There is no reference about the organizational structure with this question. For example, the organization hierarchy or like this. Ignore that point. But here, some technological aspects mentioned with the question. For example, e-marketing system, website availability. So that's why we are referring the IT system. Apply the knowledge, that is commercial acumen, but be specific to the case. Furthermore, you have to mention something, communication with the staff. For example, about the key issues. The prime purpose is to provide them confidence. For example, you mentioned that what are the opportunities if they retain. Do remember that the acquiry, here the staff acquiry are very much mature. So mature and with Adectaken company, they've been working with a long time. So what their opportunities if acquirer take up the company, the opportunities and the incentives, if possible, as a merged company. So provide them confidence. Now connect some case specific. For example, as current sports star has mentioned here as a writer in the question, as a staff, as a writer of the publishing company written, means of attracting readers to magazines so the acquirer Propleis company also need to take steps to retain them as writers. Take some initiative in terms of monitoring, in terms of future opportunities like this, but provide them confidence. With the totality, reassure that about their retention, because normally with acquisition mergers, the staff has a normal psychology about the feeling that what will be our future, about the reassure about their retention and clarify the business models or business plans. So both these, reassure about the retention and clarify about the business model, is having implications to boost their confidence. You can also mention that it's not necessary, for example, you can share something organizational, discuss the thing with the organization culture, and also about the autonomy. These are the points related to SBL, but you can mention that if you have a time, you can write the things like this: organization culture and autonomy as well, because cultural embeddedness, it's very important, plays a very important role for the retention of the staff. Same case, what authority and powers have, is that the same, will that the same after the acquisition decision? Moreover, flexible plan. The flexible plan, whatever the strategy made by the acquirer, once enter with the acquisition. So books suggest that, and the practical experience, past history of all acquisition decisions. Even you can read the Financial Times articles, and you can just read any case study of the acquisition and mergers. You will identify that the decision for the acquisition, and then decision for or the decision to making a strategy to embed them or to integrate them, that plan must be flexible. Flexible plan will be needed for, let's say, the complete acquisition process, for integration, acquiring business into, for integration of acquiring business into acquirer, into Propleis company. You can mention that the acquirer, that's Propleis company or company management, needs, if you have a time, you can add this line, needs to spend sufficient time to make sure the plan achieves the plan, the all plan for plan for integration, the acquiry and realization of synergy. Make sure the plan achieves the objective. And this is so-called, this is not spend. I must say this need to invest enough time. And for 4 marks, this is more than enough. After this answer, you must say that this is a good enough answer about it. So this is about the answer, plan, and the execution. A little time we need to invest here. What particular statements mentioned by the examiner with their report? What particular statement? Now come on. Explain the actions which Propleis board directed to ensure that the companies integrate successfully and synergies are realized. In general, candidates were better at answering the question posed here when compared with the discussion whether or not expected synergy would be achieved in part B. Indeed, some candidates earned very good marks. This is not the relevant point. Actual point is that what are the issues? Common issues in candidates answer included the following: discussing only a very limited number of actions that the board could take. Many candidates focus on the need to avoid a clash of cultures. This is the most common thing mentioned in the study text and the past paper question. So that is what the some mug up points or some points commonly used for the previous question. I'm not discouraging them. Okay. Many candidates focus on the need of avoiding the clash of cultures arising, a need for good communication with the newly merged, but little else. So most common these points. I know that these common points are relevant here and you can get the easy marks. But this is not the only enough to get the complete marks. In general, it is better to make more succinct point than it is going to great depth on a just couple of areas. Once again, in general, it is better to make succinct points. Succinct means you have to mention multiple points and making a quick briefs rather than just focus on limited points. So more brief points, then it is to go into great depth in just couple of areas. Candidates who had discussed synergy generally in part B often started to discuss whether or not they would be achieving question part B. Where this occurred, they were given suitable credit in part B. Okay, if you refer with the part B points, but don't use the common things. So you can refer whatever the synergy point we have covered here. For example, the challenges we discussed earlier, cross sellings are like this. You can connect the things here. How to cover these challenges? So you can say that if you discuss the point how to cover these challenges, that is also the part of the answer to take the action for the actual realization of the synergy. This is the good point. So that is a point here mentioned. Who had discussed synergy generally in part B often started to discuss whether or not they would achieve in question part in this question. If this occurred, they were given suitable credit. Discussing the actions too generally and not related to discussion to the scenario in the question. This is the wrong thing. Don't do that. Just make a throw of the knowledge. Connect with the case. That is all over about the case. Once again, if I am asking you people that, yes, professional skill marks. We have developed this answer, but ask yourself, with this answer, have we incorporated all aspects of the professional skill marks? Yes or no? Yes. For example, analysis catch the information from the question linked with the case. So we just catch the information. For example, here sports retain the sorry sports star as a writer in this question. They have to retain a lot of things. Identify the key staff, IT system integration. Number two, skepticism. Challenge the information. For example, if you are working here something, skepticism, it's not only about challenge the information, it's about if something missing in the question, identify the missing points. And all these things with the acquisition decision, it's not mentioned in the question. So investigation, for the success of this acquisition decision, you need to investigate, you need to communicate with the staff. The plan must be flexible. This is actually mentioning identify the missing points. Why here we are identify the missing points? One of the point for skepticism is that need to identify the missing points. So incorporate that missing points and communicate to the relevant decision maker to make a right decision. What I'm saying, if something is not available with the case, and this case actually present to the investor, and skepticism includes that identify the missing points. So we are identifying some missing points. So these points plus case studies analysis in totality, investor will be able to get more informed decisions. Last, link with the points with the case plus additional information. So commercial acumen. If something we connect with the case, that's actually we are demonstrating our ability that we are able to discuss the points or drafting the point of practical aspects, commercial acumen. And we have added additional point as well. For example, the flexible, all these things is actually the additional points. So, sir, identify the missing points and additional information. Not both are same things. Yes, it's not about that. A very crystal clear thing. These are skepticism. These are commercial acumen. You just make a draft to incorporating the things what we are advising or suggesting. Automatically, the professional skill marks you will be able to get either or in the form of skepticism or in the form of commercial acumen. So, candidates, this is all over the episodes of all the videos related to this question. Propleis, a very good question, and in fact, I provided a comprehensive discussion here. I provided a comprehensive discussion here about this question. It's not only about just to attempt the question. This series of videos is about how to handle the question during examination, what the examiner reports are, and all about this. This is all from my side. If you have any question, you can ask me on the WhatsApp group. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. May Allah, God provide you success. Allah Hafiz.